On Thursday, Gareth Southgate named his England squad for the upcoming friendlies against Brazil and Belgium. Crucial friendlies ahead of the Euros. Lots to work out, lots to find out about some of the new inclusions like Jared Branthwaite, for instance. But there was no Eric Dyer or Ross Barkley, as I said, despite Henry's campaign to get them in by going to interview them, and there was no Ben White. And on Breakfast Friday morning live from the Cheltenham Festival, former Tottenham and West Ham manager Harry Redknapp had his say on White, making himself unavailable for selection, and it's safe to say he was not best pleased.
The door should be slammed right in his mush. Honestly, I don't... no time at all. He don't want to play for his country, goes to the World Cup, comes home because he's not in the team or whatever. I'm sorry, you've had your opportunity. You don't want to play for England. Go and tell the Bobby Moores of this world who got 100 odd caps, the Shiltons, the Beckhams, the Rooneys, them people. Go and tell the Billy Bonds of this world didn't get a cap and should have done, and all them great players. They don't want to play for their country. I think it's disgusting.
I'm with you, Harry.
I can't have him. If he don't want to play, it's fine. Okay, you don't want to play, don't play anymore. Thank you very much.
Great stuff from Harry as ever. Are you in agreement with him, Henry?
Well, I love the idea of slamming a door shut because
in his mush, I think he said.
In his mush, yeah. I think St George's Park is actually a sort of revolving door. So, but look, I agree with him. His sentiments. We have to be fairly careful, and there was a discussion amongst the media when we were there, and with Southgate at Wembley on, was it Thursday, and he was talking about it, and Southgate was very careful about it as well in terms of the backlash. Less for Ben White himself, but he's got people around him, he's got family. We have to be sort of respectful of that, but. Absolutely, I agree with Harry Redknapp. I think it's such an honour and a privilege to represent your country. You can understand an element of frustration is that Ben White doesn't think he's not going to get in ahead of Kyle Walker, and then he may look to his left and see Harry Maguire starting and think, well, maybe I should be starting in central midfield. He's one of those individuals, as we discovered during the World Cup in Qatar, who is passionate about training, is passionate about playing, but then rattling around a hotel and sort of discussing, Iraq's 4-4-2 formation with the coaching staff is just not Ben White's. He would rather just be away from that and be with his family. Yeah, he's not obsessed with the sport. He's professional with his training and his playing. You talk to people at Arsenal, you talk to people around him, but absolutely, I echo Redknapp's comments. You look at Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker reports he gets stick on the front page. He gets questioned, and there he is. He's reporting for duty. He wants the captain. He wants to play every game. And look, he's probably the best right back in the world at the moment. So it's. We talked to Southgate about this. I asked him about his debut against Portugal in 1995 when he came on for Dennis Wise, which is quite interesting substitution, and then his pride in it, and then the following year, all the stick that he got at Wembley for missing that penalty, and yet the next game, Moldova away, he reported for duty. He could have hidden, but he didn't. And the majority of England players. So coming back to Harry Redknapp's rant/perspective, when he actually mentioned all those players, I would be quite interested if Ben White actually went and said that to Ian Wright, to Tony Adams, to David Seaman, Arsenal legends who were also England legends as well.
Ryan has texted in to say Gareth Southgate threw Ben White under the bus, and it shows what a coward he is. Gareth knows why Ben doesn't want to be called up, yet he made everyone think it was Ben's fault and caused a pile-on. Pathetic.
No, I think that is harsh.
Gareth did say he didn't really know the reason, didn't he? Now he must know the reason.
No, surely. Because what happens, Shaun, you know how these things work in terms of the clubs get contacted in advance about the long list, the availability, and whether that's sort of slightly a medical issue, are they fit? And then the call came back from Arsenal, from Edu, their sporting director, that Ben White didn't want to report for duty. And now Southgate's argument is that, look, we're always having a pop at him for not picking players on form. Eric Dyer, Ross Barkley, to take your point. But actually, Ben White is informed. So the obvious question was, why wasn't Ben White there? So Gareth was simply just clarifying that Ben White had made it known.
Yes, but why?
He would have picked him on form.
Yes, but why wasn't he there? That's the point. Gareth surely knows. He knows what went on at the World Cup.
You know what,
when
Gareth
White wanted to leave the squad.
Gareth, he's not one of those managers who tends to lie. I don't think he
No,
lies
I'm
at
not
all.
saying I'm not.
And I think he was just baffled. He said, "I don't understand it." You know, you have to ask Arsenal. You have to ask Ben White. He was very keen to play down the sort of the Steve Holland theory that they hadn't got on. I think one thing we do know is that Ben White is not necessarily passionate about sort of going and spending a month away from home when he's not going to start. But the thing is, there are only 23 players going in the squad. Ben White would probably get into that 23. Absolute no chance now. He'll never play for England again. That door is closed, revolving or slammed or whatever. But he, you know, if he'd actually gone to Germany this summer, the chances are, with only 23, it's not 26, is that he would have featured at some point. And what a miss this is going to be. And in 10, 15 years' time, his kids will say, when England won the European Championships in Berlin, that triumphant moment, why weren't you there?
But we did have 25, and I was... obviously, you've had your campaign, as I mentioned earlier on, to get Diane Barclay in, but they weren't in. So did you quiz Gareth and demand to know why your campaign hadn't worked?
No, because I didn't expect either of them to be in. And when I sort of talked to them...
Sure, I wish we could play a few clips of you on Eric Dyer a couple of weeks ago.
I absolutely no. All I was doing, because you very naively have no interest in German football, and he's been playing well.
I have a great interest in
all I
German
was
football.
doing... you know, I mean, we have a go at Southgate for not picking on form. So we were just highlighting that Eric Dyer's informed that he's doing well in the Champions League.
You said on here he has made a great case to be back. You told us all about what he'd done at the World Cup and why should be back. But instead you got Jared Branthwaite. Now, I presume you're in favour of that now then?
I think it's too early for him. But I mean, I think what it does,
because it should have been Eric Dyer.
I think it highlights the issues that England have at centre back, and also, I mean, I don't know if you've read the papers today, but there's some very interesting England pieces. I direct you to Sam Wallace's piece in the Sunday Telegraph, which is a very interesting take, because a lot of the Sunday reporters went on the news lines of Southgate talking about Rashford and Grealish have really got to raise their game at club
which is
level
true.
to be considered. Absolutely true, because of the alternatives that England have out wide. England's attacking depth is extraordinary. Sam goes into that, but 2/3 of the way through the just to sort of read one bit of it, he said, isn't it fantastic for England England manager Gareth Southgate? He can call upon the top scorer in Spain, Bellingham, the top scorer in Germany, Kane, and 6 of the top scorers in the English top flight. England have got so much sort of attacking talent. Coming back to Ben White, defender, wouldn't you have loved to have actually been in this group, which has got a very good chance of winning in Germany? But then Sam goes on to, I don't know how far you actually get through the pieces, but about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, Sam talks about the issue of the playmaking number 6 alongside Declan Rice. So what would you do there? Would you have a Jordan Henderson alongside Rice and Bellingham?
Do you think that Jordan Henderson is a man in form? Because again, he gets in there and everybody goes, "No, we can't have Jordan Henderson." Where do you stand?
Well, I'm asking you. I mean, I'm just saying that Southgate Henderson is bound to be in the squad and probably be in the starting 11, particularly with Calvin Phillips struggling for form and not in the squad now.
I would prefer a change of. Would
you have a Foden in there, or would you have a Foden on the left instead of Rashford?
Playing a bit deeper and helping out. I mean, I understand all the arguments. Maybe change formation to accommodate the type of players you've got, the type of good players which you've just reeled off there. Lots of good players. Maybe we can find a way of accommodating all the good players into the team and changing formation accordingly. Is that not an option?
No, I think he'll stick with 4-3-3, and he'll have it will be Rice, Bellingham, and one other. I mean, I'm a big Trent Alexander-Arnold fan, but
are you?
But in terms of playing him in that position, because I think England need to go on the front foot. Plus, also, I don't know how much of Manchester City you watch, but John Stones has been outstanding.
I watched him yesterday.
Stepping into midfield.
Although Stones wasn't playing, wasn't starting.
Yeah, he wasn't
yesterday.
playing. But I mean, he's outstanding. At the point I'm making is he's outstanding at stepping into midfield, and he can step in alongside Rice.
We should just mention that there's a little injury worry about Harry Kane because he collided with a post playing for Bayern Munich yesterday, but unlike Mr. White, I think Harry Kane will probably crawl to England camp this week to be involved, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a slight concern, but I mean, it's remarkable. His 31st league goal of the season, a Bundesliga record for doing it this early. And then you look at the sort of the options that England have got behind them. Watkins is in form. Ivan Toney can take penalties. You would assume that he would have a very good chance of going. Marcus Rashford, I know he's best on the left, but he can also play. He'd almost be like your sort of fourth choice of centre forwards. But it is a concern if Kane's not there. Who would you start of the two if Kane isn't fit for Brazil? Would you start Watkins or Toney?
Oh, Watkins, I think. I think Watkins is the man in form. Tony, by all accounts, wasn't great yesterday. I think Watkins, it feels like he's got a lot of confidence at the moment. Yeah, I'd go for him.
Definitely.
You touched on Rashford and Grealish being told their place isn't guaranteed. Was that a real, their place isn't guaranteed, or was it just the usual, oh, well, their place isn't guaranteed, but they'll probably be on the plane?
Well, the headlines in the sober papers, as well as the more excitable ones, Rashford and Grealish giving Euro warning. I think that is the theme that Southgate wanted to make the point of. He also makes the point, he says, so Southgate talking about Rashford, he has a battle on his hands with Gordon, with Cole Palmer, with Phil Foden. We've got big competition for places in that area of the field, particularly on the left. I mean, you see a lot of Gordon. I quite like it when he plays through the middle, but I think probably coming in off the right is probably the third best of his sort of attacking three positions. He's best off the left.
The one worry about Gordon is he doesn't always seem able to get through 90 minutes, and he does have a few injury worries. I do think that's a little bit of a concern.
But, if you've got the subs to bring on, you rotate it. He's not likely to be starting for England if Rashford or Foden. I mean, where do you play? Foden clearly has to start, but do you play him alongside Rice and Bellingham, or do you play him in Rashford's position on the left?
Henry. 6 up front.
Well, I know you will, because that's the Kevin Keegan in you.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.